Hello, everyone. I'm Christine Blosdell, and welcome back to Out of the Box with Christine. I have a question for you. Actually, I have two questions for you. Have you ever questioned your connection to spirit? Have you ever wanted to develop your own psychic abilities? Then this show is perfect for you, and my guest is the perfect person to talk about it because David Hale is a UK-based medium and healer who offers readings, healings, and teachings to a global audience seeking answers and talking to spirit on the other side. I am so excited to have you, David Hale. He is also the author of the brand new book, Coming Down to Earth, a personal journey of spiritual development to help you on your spiritual path. Welcome, honey.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Oh, I've just been looking forward to this for so long, and I'm just so grateful that we were able to make it work. You're based in the UK, so right now when we're recording this, it's a little bit late in the evening. So thank you for staying up and being with us, and
No, no problem.
talking about a subject matter that's absolutely near and dear to my heart. First of all, I love hearing the story behind the story.
Hmm.
And so I would love to know, when did you realize that you had these abilities? I know everyone has intuition and everyone is a bit psychic, but when did it really come to you that, hey, I'm communicating with people that maybe are not here physically?
It was quite late in life. It was only just about nearly 4 years ago, actually. So it was a lot later in life, actually. I'm 38 now, so it was, yeah. Um, it's not really until you look back and you understand, actually, oh, I experienced that, and that's what that was, or I experienced this, and what's going on, and all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, it was only a few years ago, I'd say 4 years ago, that I I actually decided to look into it because always been interested in psychics and mediums. I've been going to psychic fairs and events throughout my teens and early 20s, and I found it fascinating. And then I didn't do anything with it for about 10 years because I didn't think I was psychic or medium, because things, being psychic to me was being normal. It came natural, you know what I mean? And then, yeah, in 2017, I thought, I need to look into this again. I don't know why, but I believe everything happens for a reason. It's meant to happen when it's meant to happen. At that particular point, I was pulled back into it, and that was it really. And then my mum told me, she went, "Oh, that makes sense, because when you were a baby, you used to talk to wallpaper. Like, and now you tell me, okay." So kind of put the pieces together, and it's like, oh, there you go.
And so this journey, how, when you realized that you were able to communicate, were your friends and family, well, your mom was like, yeah, of course, this is, I knew this all along, but were your friends and family, were most of them also understanding and welcoming of this information, or did you have some people that were like, wait a second, what's going on with you?
Yeah, I never had any resistance to it, but I kept it quiet to start with because I come from an Irish Catholic family. So I was brought up for the church and Catholicism and all that business. So it wasn't ever talked about in my family. So it was a bit of a lonely journey because I didn't think anyone else understood me, because no one else in the family I knew were psychic or mediums. So I was kind of the first one to go, something's happening to me, which is a little bit different to everybody else. So I never had any resistance. I kept it quiet to start with because I thought they might thought I've lost the plot or something, or it's just a fad. So I didn't tell anyone to start with. But as I realised, no, actually, I can do this. Then when I told my mum, found out, she said, "Oh, yeah, whatever." So to her, it was like, "Oh, yeah, that doesn't matter." Didn't think I was strange. And actually, it's opened a conversation with the rest of my family, who actually didn't realize underneath it, they are all very spiritual. So I can have a conversation with them now, and they ask me questions about, what does this mean? I've seen this, I've experienced this. Can you tell me what it means? So actually, I think people were kind of secret spiritualists, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, considering that we are Catholic on that side of the family. So that's quite a nice surprise.
That's lovely. That's actually really lovely, because now they're saying, I saw a white feather on the road. What does this mean?
Yeah, there's a Robin. I can see
I had a
Robin.
dream. Yeah. Well, one of the things, and what I like is when I asked you what your superpower was, you said helping people heal and bringing comfort from their loved ones in spirit. And I just said to myself, what a, like if somebody says, so what do you do? Everybody says, what's your job? What do you do? I'm an accountant, I'm a salesperson. You
Yeah,
have like the most awesome job in the world because you're helping people. And it's not closure, because when I know that when you start to communicate with those that you love, that have transitioned and that are just not here on this plane that we can see them, but
yeah,
it opens up a whole new relationship. And sometimes you feel more connected to them after they've transitioned than when they were actually here in, in the skin suit, so to speak.
completely.
Uh,
Yeah,
right. But what a wonderful gift that you bring people. Uh, the process of losing someone, a parent, a grandparent, a child, the pain,
yeah,
especially I can imagine the pain of a parent who loses a child is so great.
yeah,
And this is something that I think a lot of people, and I'd love to have you talk on this. We tend to feel that we're alone, or we tend to feel that that person is gone once they
yeah,
die. Can you
yeah.
talk about that? Are they really gone?
They're never gone. They're always, it sounds a cliche, but they are always around us, and it's just being open to feeling them. But grief, and I actually started writing something on this the other day. But grief is something that we will grieve for certain people for the rest of our life. And I know a lot of mediums say, "Oh, there is no such thing as death." Let's be real, there is. When someone's not physically here, we feel it. So there is a death, there is that physical loss. And it's very different to connecting with your loved ones in spirit. But it doesn't mean they are not there. And for example, my granddad, my paternal grandfather, I never knew him because he died when I was 2 months old. But actually, 3 years ago, he came to me in a dream, in a visitation, and it's been through since. And touching on what you said, I know him more since he's passed away than I ever did because he died when I was 2 months old. And my dad never really talked about him because um, I think my dad keeps a lot in, but I learned a lot more about him. I had to go and ask my mum. So, Mum, I'm feeling this. It's telling me this. Is this my imagination or is it real? And my mum would confirm, no, that's exactly who he was. So I got to know him more in depth, and anyone can do that. It's just more, being open to it and being aware of it. But our loved ones, they never leave us, and they don't want us to grieve. I know it's easy for us to say as mediums when we're passing that message on, but our loved ones don't want us to grieve. They want us to be happy because they want to live through our eyes and see our journeys that we are still on, because we are still here and we've got a life to live. And they want us to do it with a smile on our face, with happiness, and almost do it in their memory. Do you know what I mean? So they're always around us. And lots of spirit people have told me they're never going to get rid of me. I'm going to haunt them to the day they die. They're never gone.
Well, yeah, and if you think about it, someone that loves you, if it is a parent or a spouse who loves you so much, they don't want to see you suffer. They don't want to feel that you're suffering. And yet we uh, we I don't want to say that we drown ourselves in that sorrow and that grief, and everybody grieves differently. Some
Yeah,
people, it's, well, it knocks them out, and that's it. Uh, and maybe even there's a part of us that thinks that we should be grieving and behaving in a certain way in order to
yeah,
honor the memory of that person, right? But when you
yeah.
do, when you think about it, if someone loves you, they don't want you to suffer.
No, and no, I've had people like say to me they feel guilty for laughing. So why? That your loved one wants you to laugh. That's the complete opposite of what they want. You'd never feel guilty for laughing. You're never going to forget them. They're always going to be with you, but you need to live because you are still here and you've still got a life to live. This life is for living and experiencing. And you can only do that when you are actively doing it and you're not, caught too much in your grief. And I'm not going to tell anyone, you can't grieve or there's a certain time period, because grief is grief. That's your grief, it's your personal grief. But it has to come a point where you do receive some of that healing in whatever means that might be in order to live the rest of your life, because that's what makes your loved ones happy.
Oh, I so agree with you. And we were talking about, of course, too, when we lose someone, when someone transitions, and we feel that grief, that because they're physically not here. That's one aspect. But then there's a different kind of grief and pain that people go through, where maybe they had a parent that was abusive,
Mm,
and they didn't have that connection, and there's an anger that what that parent did, or what
yeah,
that spouse did. And so we can carry that for the rest of our lives as well, like, because that conversation, or that confrontation, or that, hey, you did this to me, and I was scared, little child, that that communication didn't happen when that person passed. But there's still a lot of healing that can happen, and especially through a spiritual medium such as yourself, correct? There's ways to communicate with that person for resolving, for making that closure happen.
absolutely. And the client, they have to be in a place where they want to receive that, or they're open to receive that. Because I know some people, that some of my clients, some of my followers on my page, they were in that situation and they don't want to hear from that person ever again. They don't even want a sorry. They want to forget they ever existed. But that's their choice. As long as they're not carrying any resentment or anger or pain, then that's fine. You don't have to. So, people have a choice. If they don't want to hear from them, they don't have to. But as long as they have received some healing in the soul, to be able to, again, to continue um and live. We can't carry those again. Those people that go over to spirit world, if they were an abuser, they will have some healing to do as well. So if they do, I think people are afraid if they do come through, they're going to come through saying something really horrible, or something really nasty. They're not, because they've also got healing to do, and they will see when they flash back to how they treated people down here in the physical world. They will learn those lessons, and majority of the time they will come through with an apology, with a sorry, with the regrets, and that should help those people. But they have to be willing to hear that, and it will actually accept it, to be able to hear it and take it on board and go, okay, chapter closed, that's it, let's move on, I've got my healing. And then if they want to think about it again, they don't have to. Again, as long as they're taking that healing in, that's what matters.
Yeah, I know, with my own father who's transitioned, I know that now I can feel his energy, and I can feel his regrets, and
Yeah.
and feeling sorry for the way he treated me. And there's compassion, which is very interesting, is that when you have that compassion for someone, and knowing that they were doing perhaps the best that they could at that time, but also that they were a product or a byproduct of their family, of their parents, and how they
Hmm.
dealt with things was, through the lens of those people, the people that they were raised by. But there is
Yeah.
a great deal of healing that comes when you know that that person who's transitioned is actually wanting, still they're wanting the best for you.
Yeah.
And maybe they weren't able to show love, maybe because they didn't receive love themselves. And it's a beautiful, it's an actual journey into healing as well. That it's I highly recommend
Oh,
it for
completely.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, someone I wanted to know, well, you had mentioned that your grandfather, who passed when you were 2 months old, your grandfather comes and visits you, and communicates with you often. Are there other people that communicate with you that are relatives, or do you have also people that come to you who you don't know, but they're coming to you because you're like the radio station for them, and they're going, you need to talk to, you got to talk to my daughter. I need you to get this message through. Do you get those kind of messages?
Really randomly, yeah. My all I think, I think all most of my spirit families, all my grandparents have passed, and they've all come through individually at one point or another. My nan and my granddad, and so my granddad that passed when I was 2 months old, they normally come through together, and so my granddad talks more than my nan did. Um, and so yeah, most of my own spirit family have come through, but they always, when they come through, I test them. because I want to know it's not my imagination, not my memory bank bringing it in. So I will say, right, if that's you, prove it. Like, give me something. And they'll give me something really random. And I have to text my mum, Mum, what on earth does this mean? I've got no idea. And she'll always validate it. So that's quite nice. But yeah, I tend not to get people's family members come through unless I'm reading for them. But I have had celebrities, come celebrities, they will come through really randomly. I'm like, why? And I do, why am I seeing you for? What's going on? And they're not people I follow either, or that I was ever a fan of. So I'm thinking, why did you come through? Why did you come through? With Prince being one of them, and now you have a connection to Prince
Yes, so
as
much
well
so.
as Lou does. And I think maybe because me and Lou are quite connected, Prince he actually came through last week, which was very random. And he come through, and again, he was giving me loads of stuff, and I had to get on the old Facebook group with Lou and said, Lou, can you validate this? Because it's showing me all this stuff. I've got no idea. I never followed Prince. I was not a fan. But he come through loads of information. And I've had other celebrities come through as well. I'm like, what? Why? Why are you coming through to me for? And then Lou kind of gives me the sanity check. Oh, she's my sanity checker. They're still people. Just because they're famous doesn't mean they're any different to you or I. They're still an energy. If they've got something to say, they'll use you as a channel. So that does happen.
Well, and especially I would the into what I'm there's the screaming, not the screaming, but the yelling in my head is when you are on a path and you are, to be blunt, taken out, when something happens to you and the story or the official story is, oh yeah, it was just a drug overdose, or oh yeah, they slipped in the bathtub, or oh yeah. And I would think, I mean, myself, if somebody said that I took my life and I know I didn't,
Mm.
and I had so much to do and I was so excited about life and I was cut short because of these whatever.
Yeah.
I would want to I would want to I would want to speak. I would want to say something. And I found the connection that I had with Prince. And I haven't focused in on him, but the same thing was with Princess Diana and also Marilyn Monroe. And
Yeah.
what I feel and what I've felt is this thing of, it's not the way it happened.
Completely agree.
And wanting, not it's not like that they're demanding respect, but it's recognition that I did not do this to
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
And there's foul play involved, and also to help save and protect other people. That's the
Mm.
urgency that I'm feeling.
Yeah.
With you as well?
Complete. Yeah. Because Prince he didn't go into details about how he died, but it gave me information about it wasn't this way, or it's not how you thought. Same as Marilyn Monroe. And she only come through because I was going to be doing a reading for Lou actually, and Lou has that connection with her, so Marilyn just popped in, and Lou validated what she felt about that as well. So yeah, and both those cases, it was very much going or telling the truth against the narrative that we have been told, right? So I think that's the reason why they popped in. So it's Freddie Mercury actually. He popped in a different reason. I was on my balcony in the sun, minding my own business, and I saw him in my head. And this was 2 days before that explosion in Beirut happened back in August. And I was lying there, and now I'm not a fan of Freddie, respectfully, just not my cup of tea, right, but
Yeah.
before my time. And he kept saying to me, Beirut, Beirut. What are you telling me Beirut for? And I thought, you're trying to give me a name or something. So I kind of passed it off. And then 2 days later, the news, oh, Beirut, had a big explosion. So for whatever reason, Freddie decided to come in and give me information about Beirut. I didn't know what it was, but clear as day, Beirut, Beirut. So I think they've all got their reasons for coming through one time or another.
Yes. And another one for me, and and I was never a huge fan. I grew up, I'm a child of, well, I'm born in the 60s, mid 60s. And so in the 80s we had George Michael.
George Michael, yeah.
And George, for some reason, uh comes through to me. I feel his energy, and there's a really deep connection with George Michael, and I don't know why. I haven't a clue. I don't know. Maybe because also I have a podcast show.
Yeah.
I also am on radio. I'm in broadcasting. I've been doing that for, many, many years. So again, there's a megaphone, right? So maybe they're coming through to hope saying, please just talk to me. I don't know.
And you know what? Sometimes even when people say, why is it you do what you do? Sometimes I don't question it, and I try not to question things. I think sometimes when we overthink things or question things too much, almost takes the magic away, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So
Yes.
George Michael comes through to me, I'll come on then, right? I don't care why you're here, I just bring it on. Because I was a fan of him as well. So like, yeah, come on in. I don't mind why you're here, I'm not bothered, just come and talk to me. Do you know what I mean? So something that I just don't question, just accept it. I'm like, okay, thanks. I love that. I'll take that.
When you were talking to about those within your family that have come through to you, I immediately thought of my grandmother, because my grandmother was such a special person. She still is a special person to me. When I was growing up, she was so close. I was so close to this woman, and of course, when she transitioned, I was so sad and devastated. But the way in which she communicates with me through a feeling is
Mm,
so authentically her.
yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes what will happen is that I'll in conversation and day-to-day activities, whatever, I'll say something, it'll be a phrase, and I'll just say it. I'll have this need to say it, and then I'll go, that's something that my grandmother used to say,
Hmm.
and it wasn't even in my conscious mind at all,
Yeah,
but I just blurted out.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's actually really amazing, and also in times of need as
Hmm.
well, right? When we're hurting or when we're questioning life,
Yeah.
those wonderful beings that have been in our lives, they come through really. For me,
Oh,
my grandmother comes through. She's there, boom. She's here
yeah.
now.
No, completely. Because they still want to protect us. They still want the best for us, and they want to make sure that we're okay. And sometimes that's all people need to hear. If I'm doing a reading for someone, I can say one thing, and right, that's all I need to hear. Thank you very much. Um, because it does bring comfort, just knowing that they're like stood next to you almost, you know, or behind you. You can't see them, but you know they're like, who's breathing on my neck? But you know they're there, right? And
Yeah.
that's sometimes all people needs to know, because it's just having that. But they're physically not there. It's just knowing in spirit they are there. You never get rid of them. You can't get rid of that bond.
I would love to let our listeners and our viewers know a little bit about the process. So also, so that if they'd like to reach out to you and they would like to have a session, we'll throw out the website, and the link will be in the show notes, as well as the link to your brand new book, Coming Down to Earth. So we want people to grab a copy of that. But the process, when someone books a session with you, go through a little bit of the process of what you do, and I'm imagining you do it through like Zoom or Skype, but tell us a little bit about that process.
Yeah, so it is through Zoom or Skype or FaceTime or WhatsApp video, whatever it might be. So that's the climate at the moment, isn't it? We can't do anything else really. So I just invite people to come along, be open-minded, and I will literally just sit and I'll channel their loved ones. So I use all my senses. So I'm clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, claircognizant. So I use all of them. So sometimes I'll see them in my head. Sometimes they'll say something to me to get someone's attention. Sometimes they'll put an impression of me of how they passed. So, for example, if they died of a heart attack, I will get pain in my chest. And they're not doing it to harm me. It's more just to say, like, this is me coming in, because that person can then relate to them. So we just sit, and I'm very much in a video like this, and I will just ask them, like, all you need to say to me is yes, no, Well, I don't know. I said, I'm not offended if you say no, because it's down to interpretation, right? I might see something that I interpret one way, but actually you interpret it another.
Yes.
However someone interprets it, that's completely up to them. So I always say to them, look, I just say it as it is. I get the most random things placed in my head. I mean, I told some woman she needs to shave her legs, right? That's very random. But her mother said to me, tell her she needs to shave her legs. And she completely understood what I meant, because she hadn't shaved her legs for a week. And her mum was a lady and she kept herself proper. So she understood that. So I will just say it because I don't know what else it means. So my readings are very much not doom and gloom, because that's not me, right? We keep it they uplifted, we keep it fun, and I just bring through the evidence they're bringing through. I never ask for anything negative. It's always for the positive and the good of the person. And I always say to them, you should leave my reading better, feeling better than you did when you came in. And that is the aim. And it should make them laugh. There are always tears, but that's good. So as long as they're healing tears, I don't mind that. But it should also be uplifting. So you have no doubt that it's your loved one that I've been speaking to when they've come through.
What an amazing gift to offer to people. I like, I'm thinking too, like, this makes an actually like a wonderful birthday gift or a holiday gift, instead of giving somebody, something that they're never going to use again, right? Or
Yeah.
put on the shelf. It's like, here, darling, I want you to connect with your mother who you love and miss. Do you also, I don't, do you do you connect with our beloved pets? Do they ever, or is it mostly just those that have been in a human form?
No, the amount of times that a dog has come through, I did a reading the other day, and I was reading for a lady, and I think I don't know if it was her granddad. I think no, it was her granddad that was stood here. And then I saw a picture of Elvis. I said, "Does your granddad have a connection to Elvis?" She went, "No, his dog was called Elvis." Oh, well, the dog's here then. So that was one example. And I did one the week before that, and I saw this dog. Well, no, actually, I got the name Jasper in my head. Well, okay, I'm hearing Jasper. And then I didn't see a dog, I just felt it was a dog. So I said, there's a dog here called Jasper. So a girl said, yeah, I know. And I said, but he keeps showing me carrots. I have no idea why he's showing me carrots. Does he eat carrots? She went, no, the dog was named after the comedian Jasper Carrot. But
Oh.
that'd be why then. Why I'm showing me carrots? And I was able to describe he had issues with the back legs, but now it's not because he's running around like a mad dog. So yeah, dogs actually come through, cats come through. I've had birds come through before as well. So yeah, they're all up there.
I love that. That is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. What if, do you also do you teach people how to tap into their own intuitive and psychic abilities, spiritual abilities? Do you have clients that you teach that process to, or court not courses, but group sessions and things like that, where you help people?
Not yet. That is the plan. I think for me, because I've only been doing it, and Lou will just slap me if she hears me say this, but I always say I've not been doing it very long. And she says to me, David, take that out of your vocabulary because you are a medium and that's it. I think for me, it's a process. And that's what part of the book was really. I wrote the book to help other people. Just using that platform for now, but that is something that will come. But people that watch my lives and that follow me on my page, they know that I do like to teach and I do like to empower people. And I'm not somebody, although I do lives and I will read on the live, I'm not someone, a psychic or medium that will just sit in live, just read. That's not me. I like doing Q&A sessions where people can ask questions and I then educate them on the ways of spirit. So they know how it works. And they know they can connect. So courses like that will be something to come. There's other stuff I'm working on. Really just my own self-development to make sure that I am the best fountain of knowledge for people to use, so they get the right information. I don't give them wrong information, but I want to make sure I'm the full, I don't know what I want to say, that I've got that full body of knowledge to give
Yes.
people first.
I
So
No, I understand. I understand.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna do my own little bit of psychic work here and say that number one, I do see you, you and Lou together doing a podcast show slash YouTube channel is an absolute must.
yeah,
Everything within me, goosebumps and chills and all of that is saying yes, 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 yes. It's yes with a cap, all caps. Yes,
yeah,
to take on that, because it's a way for you'd be able to reach so many more people,
yeah,
and you never know what's going to come from that and develop from that. But so I do hope you do create your podcast show, you and especially Lou. I love Lou. She's amazing.
yeah. We definitely are. And we've talked about it for quite a while. I know she's been in contact with you as well, getting advice about how to get it up and running. So that is definitely on our agenda to do that. She's got a lot of knowledge, and she's been doing it a lot longer than I have. But she's got a lot. She's dealt with a lot of different situations in the spirit world, within the psychic world, like demonology stuff. So I learn a lot from her as well. So, and the pair of us, me with fresh eyes, and she knows how I can channel spirit as well. So coming together, I think, and people like seeing us together. When
Oh,
we've
love
done
it.
Facebook lives together, people, that energy is something just unique about it. I think because we're real, and we're honest, and we do say it as it is. And I think that's what people like, the authenticity of what we do together and individually as well.
Well, you each bring your own unique gifts,
Yeah,
to it, but you're somewhat of like siblings in the respect of not just your mannerisms, but the energy that you have
yeah,
is, because she's the same way. She could be cheeky and funny, and it's not like this really serious, intense thing.
no,
She's serious when she needs to be serious, but at the same time she has this lightheartedness
yeah.
that is just beautiful. So the two of you together, the chemistry, I think, would be just perfect.
I
Absolutely.
agree.
Absolutely perfect. Well, David, I want to thank you again so much for being on the program. Is there anything, before we go, is there anything that you feel compelled to say, or is coming through you from either George Michael or Prince, or just your own spirit, anything that you want to communicate before we say goodbye?
Yeah, go and buy the book. There you go.
I love
Plug, plug, plug. Um, but no, I think in the times that we're in, I think it's with this whole pandemic going on, I think it's brought people down a lot, and I think it's really changed the mood of the world. And I just want to say to people, keep positive, as hard as it sometimes is, and keep setting yourself those goals, right? Because hope eventually this won't last forever, but we still need to continue. So do set your goals. Don't let this situation stop you from living, stop you from striving to do what you want to do. Now I've got a vision board in my bedroom, and I actually put on there, be invited on podcasts, and here I am. Law of attraction at work there. To put those positive thoughts out, because we have a choice, right? We can either sit and wallow in it, or we can go, no, do you know what? This is not going to stop me or beat me. I need to continue. I've got this to do, and I'm busy, and keep going, keep going. So yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. I think that's how I finished off the book as well, is try and keeping that positive mindset even in the darkest of times that we're in. We need to see the light, and we need to shine our light to get to where we need to be.
Oh, that's a wonderful way to end the show. I so equally agree with you, and especially right now, we actually have the opportunity, because things have sort of been shut down. We have that opportunity to go more within and upskill. And I don't mean like upskill like learning, uh, different software programs. I'm meaning upskilling, listening to our hearts, and also taking care of some homework we need to about
Yeah,
ourselves. We're so used to going outside and getting information coming at us that
yeah,
it's very helpful right now to be a little bit quiet within and to work on ourselves on some deep levels.
completely agree. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and another, you know what? And I'm going to tell you another thing in addition to the podcast. What I'm getting is and I got chills on this one too. Um, you would be a brilliant um, business, not, and I don't want to say business coach, like, yada, 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 but someone to help people when they are in business and help guide them on a few decisions where they don't know where to go or how to start. You might have some really good insight for them. And that would be something you could add to your repertoire, your services. But that's what I was getting
Yeah.
to help people, because right now people are, there, a lot of them are suffering, and
Hmm.
the brick and mortar place that they used to work is gone.
Yeah.
The company that they worked at for, decades is no longer there, or they've been, laid off or terminated. And right now they're looking for something to help them. And I think it might be something that would be really wonderful coming from you.
I'll put that on my board, Christine.
Put it on your board,
I'll
baby.
put it on a board, put it
Put it
out
on your
there.
board. And I want to tell people to put on their boards that they must run out and get David Hale's book. It's called Coming Down to Earth: A Personal Journey of Spiritual Development to help you on your spiritual path. And we'll have links to that, the book, in the show notes. Also, we'll have a link to your website, David. And for those of you who are listening and you don't want to look at the show notes, write this down. It's davidhmedium.co.uk. That's David H. Medium. H is for Hale. Hello. davidhmedium.co.uk. I got that right, right?
Got it right.
All right. All right. Darling, thank you so very much. And you're welcome to come back anytime if you
Oh,
feel
I'll come back
inspired.
anytime you like me.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Please come back anytime. And especially if something compels you that you feel the need to get on the show and talk about, just reach out to me. I'd love to have you back.
Oh, I'd love to be back. Thank you, Christine.
All right.
Marvelous.
Thank you, love. And I want to
Thank
thank you, wonderful listeners and viewers, for tuning in this week. Remember, if you want more information about the show, go to outoftheboxwithchristine.com and hit subscribe in the YouTube channel. And until next time, as I always say, remember to think outside that damn box. Bye for now.